Thanks for joining us on the Nikki Medoro Show. I am Nikki Medoro. She is Kim McAllister. I have my cocktails for cocktails and news because there's plenty of news that drives us to drink. All right. And click that thumbs up button before we start the show because we are, again, 100% crowdfunded. The super chat, super stickers are always live. And if you want to support us through our PayPal and Patreon, all the ways to support us are in our show notes because we cannot do the show without you. So thank you all for being here. We're going to get to everything. Like the thumbnail says, damage done. Donald Trump. I would say over the past week, there have been many decisions that have been made that have, in one sense, Kim, very good. Like, right from the Supreme Court to some sorts of decisions that we agree with, from the ballroom to all sorts of things, right? Mm-hmm. But the damage has been done. Like, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Can we go back? Can things be fixed? Does it matter? Is the big question. But we do have to start with the big breaking news of today, which of course is April 2nd when we're doing this live, which is Attorney General Bondi is out of a job.
Bye, Bondi.
Bye, Bondi. She's out as Attorney General. Many are saying because now we were debating it a little bit before the show, and I'm like, let's just save it. Because people are saying because she messed up a lot of the things that Trump wanted her to do. And Kim, you were saying, no, she did exactly what he wanted her to do, pointing to things like the Epstein files and things like that. She said a lot of stupid things, which I would also say was Kristi Noem's problem as well. You know what I mean? Like, we have the Epstein files. We have the evidence on our desk. We have all of these things. Is that what Trump wanted her to say? You know what I mean? Like, these are the things that I think got Pam Bondi in trouble. And I think also in a lot of legal trouble as well.
I'm going to try to say this so I don't wander all over the place.
Okay.
But I feel like, I have no sympathy for Pam Bondi.
Of course not. No, nobody does. Not on the show.
She's horrifying. And I don't understand how someone who went to law school and obviously took a constitutional law class could then turn around and take a job and take a big, right on the Constitution.
Of course.
She has zero morals. She signed up for this job because she's a Trump lover,
of course,
and put everything that America stands for in the toilet to do it. And I don't know if she did it to enrich herself or what her reasoning was. However, and it's her fault for taking an untenable job, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she takes this job and she wants to do everything that Trump asks her to do because this is not a Department of Justice that stands by itself, that is independent. This is Trump's Department of Justice. For the first time in history that we know of, the DOJ is doing the president's bidding, period, end of sentence. So she is his lackey, right? Mm-hmm. And she is a good lackey. He says, go after all the people that have ever wronged me. Here's my enemies list. Go get them. And she does. She files suit against the law firms. She's filing suit against the university. She's filing suit against everybody. And all these cases are tossed out because they're all built on thin air. It's not her fault that the only thing these people have done is manage to offend the president.
Exactly.
There's nothing she can do except bring the cases and watch them get thrown out.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess she could manufacture evidence, but I just think like there's nothing she can do. Now, did she do stupid stuff like the Epstein files are on my desk and there's no there? Like, what? Did she sit in front of Congress and say, but the Dow is above 50,000? Mm-hmm. Come on. Does she look like a complete dumbass? Yes. But look at the job she's given. Look at what she had to sit in front of Congress and defend. What is she supposed to say? What is she, she brings her little book of trolling into Congress and flips it open to every name in the book trying to offend them because they bring facts to her. And the only thing she can say back is, but what about you? What about them? What about B, C, D, E, and F? So I guess what I'm saying is there is no one who can do this job and do the job of the attorney general. They're going to be doing Trump's bidding. And in doing so, judges are going to toss these cases out. There's nothing she could have done. And that's the only thing I can say in her defense. I mean, I feel bad for her because she was such a horrible kiss ass, and she couldn't get quite close enough to the ass, I guess.
Well, and again, Trump uses Truth Social and social media to kind of, put that pressure. There was that social media post back in September that has since been deleted, but of course the internet lives forever, where it was talking about Comey and Adam Schiff and others, where he was pressuring Pam Bondi to take these people and file these charges where there was nothing there. And just like you were saying, where they were being thrown out. And what was happening was her credibility was just completely being undermined. And so now what? Now what happens to Pam Bondi? Because she's not getting the gnome treatment. She's not getting some sort of other job. It's just like, thanks. Oh, she's going to do great in the private sector.
Right.
That means thanks. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, kind of thing, and I have no sympathy for her, right? Like, nobody actually feels bad for her, because here's the thing. Just like you said, Kim, she is an educated woman.
Mm-hmm.
You sold out. You sold yourself out for somebody that you should have known better.
Yep.
Anybody that has watched Trump for as long as we have now known Trump knows that the minute he doesn't like you anymore, you're dead to him. Mm-hmm. Once you can't serve him anymore, that's it. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Look at people that have just been the most loyal people to him. Where are they? They're dead. He makes up a nickname for you, and that's it. Out. That's it.
I guess so, the question is, what did he expect her to do? What could she have done to please him? Because from my mind, she was the biggest. I mean, if he told her to lay down in front of an oncoming train, she would have, right? I mean, there is nothing she wouldn't do for that man.
I mean, bringing up the Dow when we're talking about the Epstein files and humiliating yourself like that is pretty epic of a humiliation, I would have to say.
She has an empty soul.
Yeah.
She sold it to the devil, or Trump, same thing.
Same thing.
So, like, what else could she have done? I'm not saying I feel bad for her, but I guess I'm saying, I mean, obviously she put her trust in the wrong person. We all know this. This is, whatever. But I just look at her and go, there's nothing else she could have done. And there's nothing else. What do you think she could have done to not get fired?
No, what she could have done is nothing. Because the truth of the matter is, when you bring things like legal cases before judges, the problem is they don't hold up to legal scrutiny. And that's what Trump wants. It's just like finding the votes and all that sort of crap. Evidence, facts, it crumbles. It's a house of cards. I love that somebody brought up Tulsi Gabbard. This is and I'm just going to throw this out there just to add to the discussion. How do you feel about the fact that we are seeing a common theme, just sort of, in the people that are playing the fall guy or gal within this administration? Yeah. So we've seen Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi. People are now saying Tulsi Gabbard. And yet no men seem to be being punished in this way, especially given what we know in the Epstein files, right? Where are the males that are being punished from what's happened within this administration? And yet it does seem that women are being punished. Now, they are just as much at fault. I'm not saying that, these women did not just dig their own graves as well. But where are the men that are being punished within this administration?
Sausalito Vicky says, I would be sorry to see that he's only firing women, but these women
are exactly
terrible.
And again, I'm not going to absolve women just because they're women, right? Like, they should be punished as well. But where are the men being punished here? Where are they?
Where do you find so many horrible women? Like, I don't even understand. The first person that should have been fired, Nikki, is Pete Hegseth.
Oh God. And he's
That-
just being
that-
protected.
That whole signal flap.
Oh,
where
absolutely.
You give top secret information about a military operation that's underway, and you add the name of a reporter, and you're talking about it on the signal chat. What an idiot! What a buffoon! He makes
yeah.
I mean, that was the first thing that should have made all of us think, huh, these are not serious people in charge.
Exactly.
These are people who don't know what they're doing. Uh-oh, we're in real trouble. That should have been the first guy to go. So it's weird that these women are being fired. And I would argue the same thing with what's her face from the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, deplorable. I mean, she is in the middle of the basket of deplorables. What she did standing in front of that prison.
Oh yeah.
Talk about a violation of constitutional rights, the absolute and utter cruelty that woman operates with. I'm horrified just by her existence. She's awful. But
again, they're following orders,
she
right?
Did what he asked her to do. He said, I want this many immigrants gone. Did she get fired because somehow she gave a contract to someone and maybe was enriching herself? Tell me how that's not anything the president isn't doing, that he's not scooping up the cash with the crypto cash for he and his family, that he's not making money hand over fist, special deals, having, well, I'll give you this if you put $1 million into my library fund. I mean, whatever it is, he's the biggest grifter of all times. So to fire Kristi Noem for grifting, pot calling kettle black. So in my mind, these women are doing exactly what the president wants. He wanted cruelty. He got cruelty.
Exactly.
He wants someone to go after all of his enemies. He got that.
Yeah.
What does he want these people to do?
Yeah. He wants them to be successful, and you can't be, again, because, well, and again, Kristi Noem, I think, just because she had come out and said things against what he had said and the optics were just awful, she dug her own grave there. Kevin or Sal is saying about Bovino, I was thinking the same thing, but again, not a cabinet member, doesn't really count. Hegseth should be fired. I agree with Kim there. That would, especially also this latest news with the helicopter pass at Kid Rock, and him just blatantly saying no investigation, they're patriots. Like, this is the biggest example of a boys club where they can do and say whatever they want. Hegseth, he is just the epitome of someone that needs some reins pulled on him, and there's nobody watching him. It's actually frightening. I really don't feel like he knows what he's doing.
Oh, no.
And he's just bloviating and using these stupid ass terms to make it seem like we're strong, and we have no idea what we're doing. Absolutely not. And it's scary. It's absolutely scary.
Hegseth just fired the Secretary of the Army.
Yes.
Did you see that story?
Who has experience in Afghanistan and Iraq, has all these tours of duty. What the does Hegseth have? What does he have?
The guy went to West Point. He has so much experience. Like, these are the people, whether or not you like them, you can't deny that they have experience in the military settings with all these different wars. They're educated in, the military strategy or whatever they go to school to learn. Hegseth didn't do any of that.
Nope.
So is he intimidated by this guy? Is that why you fired him?
It's because the guy's probably telling Hegseth what he should and should not do. Yeah. That's probably why. He's like, we're not going to do this, or we shouldn't do this, or this isn't a good idea, or what you're saying we should do is, or what you think is going to happen is not going to happen. Yep. They don't have a plan. I mean, did you guys listen to Trump's address last night? The 20-minute address that said absolutely nothing. He said nothing. There's no way that two things can be true. That the war is over and it's going to last 2 or 3 more weeks. These things cannot both be true. They cannot both be true. Okay. And we've been talking about this the whole time this excursion war has been going on. There's no plan. And now this idea that Trump keeps pulling out where, oh, the other countries are just going to have to figure out how the Strait of Hormuz is going to be open. What are you talking about? It is, and again, I just keep saying the same thing. I'm scared about how this is going to end. I don't know how it's going to end. And I do not believe Trump or Hegseth has any sort of plan other than what it sounds like, which is we're just going to run away. Like I there's a part of me that's just going to like, we're just going to stop, turn around and be like, you guys deal with the mess. I have no idea.
He wants the allies to deal with it.
They're not going to deal with it. They're not going to deal with it.
This is a perfect example of what you just were talking about. On one hand, he says, we're going to bomb them back to the Stone Age.
Right.
And on the other hand, he says, we're still negotiating. wait a minute. We're either bombing them back to the Stone Age or we're still negotiating. It can't be both.
Can't be both.
We will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year,
did these numbers
7
make
months,
sense to you?
and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days.
Did it?
Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat.
Yeah. And then he says, we're going to bomb them back to the Stone Age, but also we're still negotiating.
Yeah.
How does that jibe with you? I don't understand.
The thing that gets me is either they're obliterated, which is what he's saying.
Yeah.
And it's over. If they're obliterated, then why are we there anymore? If they're obliterated and we're in total control, why are we sending in more troops? Why is it taking 2 or 3 more weeks? Why is there still a threat? Why can't we open the Strait of Hormuz? What are they bombing us with? What are they bombing us with? What is the threat anymore? Like, I don't believe a word he says. I just don't. I just don't believe a freaking word he says. So that's the problem. Everything that comes out of his mouth is BS. And when you don't believe at times, and we're at war, at times of war, if you can't believe the messaging coming from the president, where are we? I know. And Ricky's like, mission accomplished. Exactly. It it is a la George W. Bush, right? With the whole banner and everything like that. I get it. But this is, and again, it's the same, but it's just at a whole nother level, I feel like, it just is.
Here he is saying, by the way, allies, you're a bunch of cowards. And now it's up to you to go to open up the Strait of Hormuz because you're the ones that need the oil. We don't need the oil. So now the mess that we made, it's up to you to fix. No wonder nobody wants to be part of his shenanigans.
Both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and
thanks for creating that problem,
they can
though.
do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel,
good luck.
Many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty.
We have plenty. We have plenty. I love how he says that. We have plenty.
Two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before.
Courage.
Should have done it with us as we asked.
Nice.
Go to the strait and just take it.
Just take it.
Protect it. Use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated.
Essentially.
The hard part is done, so it should be easy.
It should be so easy.
It should be simple.
It should be so easy.
If it's so freaking easy, then why can't we do it? Like, why do you?
That's right. That's exactly right. So he goes in there. He bombs them to Kingdom Come. He wants to back out now because his poll numbers are falling. Oil prices are skyrocketing. The price of helium and other types of gases and products, plastic as well.
Everything.
The price of plastic because it's made with petroleum products.
Yes.
So that increases the price of everything that we use plastic packaging for at the grocery store. He was supposed to bring prices down. And he says, oh, all of this is only temporary. He has made a mess of the global economy. And now he wants to back out and he's telling the world, it's easy. You
just go in there. Again, this is his MO. I will create the problem, right? And now everyone else is supposed to find the solution. Yeah. And if it works, he's going to put a gold star on his head. But he's so pissed because he wanted everyone to fall in line. And he's mad at NATO. Although everyone was very happy he did not talk about pulling out of NATO during the speech because he was talking about it before. So very happy that didn't happen. But the fact that he's so pissed at the NATO allies, you are supposed to talk to NATO allies before you do what you did. Don't be mad at them because you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. You can't go to war without talking to them and then be pissed that they don't want to join you in this cluster F. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how this works, buddy. You know what I mean? So,
by the way, he was slurring his way through that speech. I know
he's an old a-hole.
It's a mush mouth. That's what he sounded like. But here's the question I have for you. Trump says he's going to be done in Iran after, we're still negotiating, but we're going to bomb him back to the Stone Age, but we're going to be done with it in 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
So 2 to 3 weeks, we pack up our missiles and we pack up our whatnot and our Humvees are back on the boat. And
just in time for summer. Yeah.
Just in time for summer.
Just in time for summer.
Well, do you think that Iran is going to get that message?
No.
Do you think that just because Trump decides he's done, that they're not going to retaliate? Here's my feeling. And I don't want this to be true. I love my country, despite all of its problems. I think they can be fixed. I'm optimistic.
Separating the country from the man. Yes.
But I feel scared. Like he's so stupid that he doesn't realize he put a giant target on the back of this country. And Iran is not a country that walks away from a fight. I feel like we just have been opened up to, I don't know what kind of terrorist attack. I don't know what kind of military attack. I don't know what kind of cyber attack. But I can imagine if someone came to our country and bombed us to smithereens, how would we react? Look what we did to Afghanistan after September 11th. You think that a country that we bombed is just going to walk away because you decide it's time for you to pack up your toys and go home? I don't think so.
I think that threat is always there. And are we, and the big question is, are we prepared with the nincompoops that are in the White House right now.
No, there's no one in charge that's serious.
Right? It's like,
They
and
just
the
fired
safeguards,
the
exactly, the
serious guy.
safeguards that we got rid of with Doge, right? And all the experienced people that Hegseth is so freaking intimidated by that he doesn't want around him, right? That he's getting rid of that have actual experience. So we're getting rid of the people that have been there for years, that know what to look for, because Hegseth is just he's so intimidated. He doesn't want anyone with this experience. So how prepared are we? How prepared are we? And then we have like idiots on the home front. Our Department of Homeland Security, who the hell knows? We don't have a good FBI. Kash Patel is ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how prepared we are. I just don't.
They used to say, Bush used to say, and Condoleezza Rice used to say, we have to be right 100% of the time. The terrorists only have to be right once.
Yep.
I mean, look who's running the show.
Yeah. I mean, it's true, but we can't. And I will say, I share your fear. Can't live there though. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
Eileen says we have never been less prepared for anything.
Yeah. Whether it's another pandemic or whether it's a terrorist attack, I do not trust this administration to be prepared for anything because they're focused on the wrong thing.
Yep.
They're always focused on the wrong thing because they're placating a child, right? They're placating a person that is still obsessed with past elections that he thinks that he should have won, yep. Right? He's trying to hide the Epstein scandal because he's involved in it. They're focused on the wrong thing because we have a child in the White House. That's the problem. We need adults back in the White House. And not only that, we need a Congress that will actually hold him in line. And we don't have that either. We don't have it.
Sue Ann with an excellent point. They've dismantled our security network. Now no other countries will give us intel anymore. That's right.
Why do they want to? Right.
We used to get information from the UK, from our allies in Europe, but Trump has summarily taken a giant crap on every ally with his, by the way, 1 year now since his tariff thing was imposed, right? So first he did it with tariffs. Then he threatens them if they don't come help us attack Iran. We're leaving NATO. We're doing this. Now they don't share information with us anymore. That's information that we needed to be safe and secure. So I agree. I agree with Sue Ann. Thank you.
Cindy, thank you so much for the $10 donation to the super chat. Damage is forever. Iran believed they had done a deal, only needed their leaders together to sign that when the U.S. killed them. Why would anyone trust the U.S. again? Thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope it's not forever. This is what, and thank you again, Cindy. This is what I hope. I mean, obviously, Iran is going to take advantage of where we are right now. They're going to take advantage of our weaknesses, right? We had a deal. We had a nuclear deal. Trump wanted to pull out of it. And I think he wanted to pull out of it so that he could slap his name on the same exact freaking deal. Honestly, I think that's what he always wants to do. He wants to pull out of something and then create his own deal that's the exact same freaking deal we had before.
With his name on it.
With his own name on it. And it was just stupid because that was a very hard deal to get to in the first freaking place. You know what I mean? But this is what I'm hoping as far as our allies, Kim, which you were just talking about.
Yep.
Is that they know that there's going to be a future without Trump.
So
that I hope that they understand that they believe just like we do. Like I'm hoping that Canada loves us. Like, you know what I mean?
Don't hate us, Canada. But here's the problem with that.
I hope.
Follow me down this rabbit hole.
Okay.
Because yes, Trump is going to be gone eventually. We can't live forever, right? Even if he tries to seek a third term, eventually there will be no Trump. Eventually. By natural causes, of course. So who do you blame for Trump being there? I would blame the unpredictable and ill-informed American voter. And so if they did it once, who's to say they won't vote again for someone, I don't know if it can be equally as horrible, but kind of as horrible, maybe as horrible in a different way. American voters got it wrong.
Yeah.
And so how can we as a country now be trusted? Look what we just inflicted upon the entire
Twice,
globe.
though. I know,
Twice.
and we did it freaking twice.
How stupid are American voters? I being one of them, right? Didn't vote for Trump, but still, as a whole, the American electorate, how dumb. And so can we be trusted to get it right? If you're in another country, would you be looking at America going, I don't know, they voted for him?
I know, but I guess I hold out hope that, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but that they understand the politics of America and they know that it's not all of us, I guess, is what I'm hoping. And that we're not, and that they see our protests, that they see what happened on Saturday, right? The No Kings protest, that they see those things, that they see how a lot of Americans feel, and that we just don't all agree with the orange man. You know what I mean? So it's all I can hold on to, because if I don't, I'll just drive myself crazy.
Say we get
Trump's
somebody good back in office again like Obama. We strengthen our ties with the United Nations. We become a member of the trusted international community, a
Right.
force for good, a force for democracy, the American ideals we stand for again. That we come up with ways to strengthen, because we never realized that we could lose so much in such a short amount of time. So we now institute new safeguards so that this kind of thing doesn't happen again,
Well-
so that our Constitution can't be trampled on. We do all of these things, but who's to say another joker isn't going to get in the White House? So in that way, do we have a political system then that the rest of the world can trust? These are the things I think about at night.
Well, we would need a Congress that is effective, and that is our problem. We need a Congress that doesn't bow down, and we need less Mike Johnsons, right? We need people that can stand up and put country before party. That's what we need. We need more James Tallaricos and people that can see beyond that and be like, nah, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. We
Or
need more
Tillis.
John McCains. We need people that
Tom
are like,
Tillis.
yes.
I mean, I know that he is only speaking up because he's on his way out. But one wonders, how come all of these people are bending over and doing Trump's bidding? Like, what does he have to give people? I know that he's threatening them. I know that there's a bunch of MAGA people in the world and he's threatening them with retaliation and getting involved and not getting reelected. But how much of your soul do you have to sell? Look at all the record number of Republicans that are checking out of politics.
Exactly.
They're like, I can't even do it anymore.
Right. I think that's it. It's like they'd just rather not be in it
Yep.
than have to stand up to him. I would
Mhm.
rather you stay in it and
Yep.
stand up to him, because that's the problem. It's what did they get into politics for? That's what I always question these men and
Right.
women. There was obviously issues that you fought for. It wasn't to please Donald Trump. You probably wanted to create jobs in your community. You wanted to fight for things like healthcare and good schools and things like that. It wasn't to, plaster a smile on Donald Trump's face. And yet it seems like that all of the time. When Donald Trump is throwing a stop sign on legislation that you are a breath away from passing that will make so many Americans happy, how can you stop it just because he doesn't like it? That's what boggles my mind. Now, I get that he has to sign it, right? Like, I get that he could stop it. But if everybody is saying, no, we want to pass it, like, you push him. That's what I don't get. That's what really pisses me off. You know what I mean? It's the fact that that Congress doesn't understand its own power against him. That if they would just talk against him in unison and be like, nope, this is the right thing. We need to do this because the American people want it. They would have so much power, but they're so weak that they don't understand that. And that's what pisses me off.
Do you think the MAGA, as Sal the Shoemaker is saying, the kind of MAGA magic within their little group is fading?
Oh, absolutely.
You think
Absolutely.
the shine is wearing off those shoes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that it's because of what Trump's doing. Look, There was a headline in NBC News. This is just a great example. Trump says it's not possible for the U.S. to pay for Medicaid, Medicare, and daycare because we're fighting wars. This was a guy that ran on it this year. He ran on, we're going to bring you all these things and not fight wars. He has gone back on the promises he made MAGA, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be the peaceful president, the no war president. I'm going to lower prices. So MAGA is looking at this and being like, what are you talking about? And especially a lot of the polls are showing men, young men, are very disillusioned with where MAGA is going. Now, I don't know if necessarily that means that they're turning to something healthier, more sane, or the Democratic Party. I'm not going that far, but turning away from that MAGA ideal. I think this reminds me of how people kind of turned away, and I'm not going to say it's completely, kind of the Tea Party. Remember the Tea Party was, so popular. Not as popular as MAGA, but very, very popular. And then it kind of faded away. Not completely, but it did. They were having rallies and all sorts of things. And funny story, I remember when my parents went to a Tea Party rally and they're like, we're going to a Tea Party. I literally thought they were going to a tea party. Like, I was like, whose?
That would have been better.
I was so like, I was so dumbfounded that they would actually go to something like that. I was very, very naive back then. So yeah,
So
boggled my mind.
we just talked about how we're not going to spend money on helping feed the poorest of the poor.
Oh yeah,
helping
no Medicaid, no Medicare. Yeah.
Helping Medicaid, helping with get medical
we have
care.
wars
for the
to pay
poorest
for,
of the poor.
Kim.
Because we have to pay $200 billion to go bomb Iran back into the Stone Age.
Because
right?
we asked for that. Yeah, exactly.
That's what we all wanted. No, think about all the things this country could do with that money, and then look at the hypocrite in charge of Secretary of State. So here he is on Fox News, Marco Rubio, saying, look at Iran, look at all the things they're spending money on, and look at what they could be doing. It is the ultimate in hypocrisy. It's like, are you even listening to yourself right now?
Understand this, Iran, this is a country that has trouble coming up with drinking water. This is a country whose economy is in shambles. It's going to be even worse off after this operation. This is a country whose people have been protesting in the streets because not just the lack of freedom, but the lack of economic opportunity, because they've taken all of their money, all the money they have, the little money they have because of sanctions, and they've invested all of it in sponsoring terrorism and building long-range missiles, increasing the range of their missiles every year, and building thousands of them, and building these one-way attack drones that they're using against their neighbors. This is what they put their money towards, and this is what they were going to continue to do. They refused to negotiate on missiles. They refused to even negotiate on terrorism, and they refused to negotiate on enrichment.
So what do you think we're spending our money on? Military operations.
Right.
It's like, do they even hear themselves?
We don't want our money to go there. We want our money to go to healthcare. We want our money to go to better schools. We didn't ask for this freaking war. Nobody asked for this. You guys created this threat. You never justified this. You never proved it either. Like, there was no evidence. Did you see evidence? Was there ever evidence presented to Congress? Was there ever anything presented at all that showed, that justified the amount of money and lives that have been lost, both American and Iranian lives that have been lost in this military excursion for this? Because I didn't see any. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
But Trump said that all the other presidents wanted to do this too.
Oh yeah, and he heard from one too, but he won't name him because he wouldn't want to name him. Yeah.
Trump said this is all, the other presidents were too weak to do this. No, the other presidents were too smart to get involved in this kind of an absolute disaster. But it's Obama's fault. It's Biden's fault. It's all the other presidents' fault. He did what he had to, what no other president could do.
Yeah. Because he has the huevos to do it, right? He's such an idiot. I'm over the lack of accountability. And again, it falls on Congress. And what also gets me is, again, every month we get closer to the midterms. And when I see headlines of, I love the fact that we're getting some new people in Congress, Kim, I really do. But, I've seen headlines of people that are older, both on the Democratic and Republican side, that are staying in. And I really don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, we need people that are older to welcome in newer people. We need a changing of the guards. We need, I don't know. It's just, Congress needs to be more effective. You know what I mean? Like, we need some sort of resurgence to get shit done. And I don't know. I'm so frustrated with the whole thing. Whether it's the House, whether it's the Senate, I don't know. I'm just done. I'm so, I get how some people are like, we're going to throw out all of Congress. Not that it would ever happen, but it just, like, and I'm not trying to like pick on people, but like Maxine Waters saying she's going to run again at 87 years old pisses me off. Sorry. Maxine Waters pisses me off. I know she's a Democrat. I'm not saying she hasn't been an amazing congressperson with a great history. She should not run again. Yeah. That is the problem. That pisses me off. And I'm choosing her to call out because she's within my own party. You know what I mean? Like, she's part of the problem. It is, I think all of these, and I don't want to be ageist, but we need to have, it's what, 35 or whatever? 35. There needs to be a limit, an age limit. I think it's total bullshit that we don't. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not trying to be ageist, but this is bullshit. It is 87, and you're going to run for again?
Well, that's kind of the way our system works, right? You build up all this seniority, you get the top positions on all of the committees. The longer you're there, the better you can serve your state. That's how the system works. But
the thing that pisses me off about, and I'm just going to say Maxine Waters because she's my example right now. The experience that she has, she should be handing down. She should be using those connections. She should be taking somebody under her wing. What are you doing? Ego. And I'm just going to call it out. Ego. You can't let it go. Like, there has to be some sort of like, you don't think anybody else can do it? You really don't think anybody else can step into your shoes? Really? There's nobody else. There's nobody else within your district that you could take under your wing to show them the ropes that can do what you do? That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying when you run again, is that there's nobody else that can do it like you two, that you can. And that is not true. And so to run again is to take away those years, to take away that energy, to take away that experience. And I just think it's bullshit. And I don't know. And it's the problem within Congress.
Yep.
And
Peter says, I don't think anybody should run after age 75.
I think even younger. I just feel, yes, pass the torch, but use, like, I'm not saying like you need to leave politics completely, but use that experience. Teach people, like, there are so many connections. Like, oh, I've been in politics. I know how it works. Then teach people. Mm-hmm. Then teach these kids, these younger politicians how it works. Like, what are you doing? You don't have to go off into the sunset, but like, you don't, I just don't get it. I just don't understand. And it makes me mad. It really does.
You're not wrong, but there's so many bigger problems. We have so much more happening right now that, like, the last problem I'm thinking about is how old my congressperson is. I'm looking at the guy in the White House. I'm looking at the guy running the
But don't you think that that's the core problem of Congress is not holding him accountable, is that they've been in Congress too long to hold him accountable. They're dirt. I'm not saying dirty in a way like Maxine Waters is dirty.
Right.
But when you've been in Congress that long, do you know how many skeletons or like promises or whatever you've made after all those years? Like, what is that history? You know what I mean? Like, you need fresh blood. You need a fresh attitude. That's what I'm saying. Like, when you've been in Congress that long, there is a history there that you need to get out of it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Quesadilla says, look at Pelosi. Her daughter was wheeling around Feinstein when she asked Trump to pardon her criminal friend's power of money. All about it, right?
This is it is the problem. Congress not holding people in power accountable has everything to do with the fact that Congress is too old, in my opinion. They don't. Yeah. And I will also say there's also some too young people that are too idealistic and you know what I mean? Like, I'm young. I don't know. I'm just idealistic. I look at Trump and I'm like, oh, you know, I'll say it's on both ends of the spectrum. I'm not saying it's just age, but give me a friggin' break over here. Like, there are some people that are too embedded in Congress to do anything about it. So we just need a mix of both, right? We just need to shake things the hell up.
Quesadilla says, even the young squad members asked people not to vote in protest. Youth means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that youth is the answer, but I do think there needs to be a mix of like something. Congress is ineffectual. They're not doing their job. This Congress isn't doing anything.
No.
They're not doing anything.
We're supposed to be protected. They're supposed to be impeaching people that break the law. Look at how many times, and I go back to the Constitution because that's what this country is based on. And every time they disregard it, I get really upset. They're supposed to be upholding it. They're supposed to be upholding their end of the bargain. They're representing us. They're supposed to be doing this job, and they're not.
Right. Exactly. You know, and it's when we have things like, you know, our First Amendment being threatened, like you're talking about, like our Constitution. Well, I was talking about like the damage being done, like that judge had come out saying that eliminating NPR, PBS, the funding was unconstitutional. What does that really mean? Like, the damage there is done, right? Like, I listen to NPR all the time. They're constantly saying we've lost our funding, so we need more help. Did you like that? You know, did you like that report from the Middle East? Well, it takes money to produce something like that, so please donate. The reason why their funding was cut is because Donald Trump just didn't like reports from that. That is the only reason that he didn't like it. But it was Congress that didn't stand up to him regarding that funding. And it's not the first time that it's happened. We've seen, if you remember, like Mr. Rogers testified, what was it, back in the 60s to protect the funding for PBS and everything like that, because it's been questioned before, right? But when you have to defend something like public broadcasting, when you have to explain to people why things like Voice of America are needed in places around the world that don't have access to journalism, basic journalism, that's scary. And that happened within this administration because he doesn't like bad press. And it's because this Congress doesn't push back on it. And that's what's scary. And that's what's frustrating. And that's what pisses me off.
Here's another thing that's scary and pisses me off. Did you see this? Trump signs an executive order to create federal voter lists. He wants to ban mail-in voting. He wants to create lists of people so that he knows who should be voting and where. This is, to me, incredibly unconstitutional.
And it in my opinion, won't hold up in court, right? Like elections are state run. But the fact that he's trying this, the fact that everything from the SAVE Act, although I'm very happy that the DHS funding did not include funding for the SAVE Act or whatever, like obviously that is a semi-win, I guess, but they've also admitted that the SAVE Act your driver's license does not count. He's just now not going to give it up. He's not giving it up. And why won't he give it up? Like we talked about, it's all due to an election he just can't admit he lost. This is not constitutional. You can't create a federal voter list.
No, the elections are supposed to be left to the states. What's he doing and why? Why is he really doing this? Ask yourself.
And where are they going to get this list? And how are they going to get this list? And who's on this list?
And
you know what I mean?
Who's protecting us from this?
Right. And what happens if you are supposed to be on the list and you're not on the list? How do you fix it? Right? Like all of these questions. And how quickly are they going to come up with the list? And how quickly can you fix it if you're not on the list? And how do you find out if you're not on the list soon enough to fix it? Right? Like all of these questions. And that's like the whole SAVE Act thing. The fact that the midterms are coming and they're still trying to push this through. Why are they rushing it so quickly? Right? Like, why are they not wanting to do it right? It's all of these questions. There's so many alarm bells that should be ringing for this Congress that just aren't because they're wusses. It's ridiculous.
And this is a little scary too. This is a story from the New York Times, as mentioned here in the chat by Kevin. The Department of Justice is also asking for the names of Jewish people at a university.
I did not see this story.
Okay, well, this is from Penn State, and I have I can bring the story up, but this is another thing, and they're doing it. They say they're doing it for the right reason. So the Department of Justice is asking for the name of Jewish people, the Jewish people that attend this university. Yeah. Want a list of them.
That sounds
Nazi-ish.
Yeah, I'm like, that sounds like, I don't know if it's Schindler Listist or like, I don't know, like very why? What is I don't understand. Why are they trying to couch it like they're trying to protect these students?
Yeah, they're trying to protect them. Federal judge approving a Trump effort to obtain a list of Jews from Penn. They're trying to collect the names and the phone numbers of the Jewish people on campus because they say they're investigating anti-Semitism on campus. But when you start taking lists of Jewish people, you want their names and their numbers and their thises and their that's.
No.
And you say you're going to protect them. I think the world has had enough making lists of Jewish people. No, thank you.
No.
They say it's to protect, but I don't believe for 1 second that it's to protect. Do you?
No. I mean, I don't trust any collection of information by this administration.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust anything that this administration wants to do. Because I feel like when they're collecting information, and again, I feel like this administration is they want to protect a certain type of American. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the whole birthright citizenship. For the first time ever, a sitting president went to the U.S. Supreme Court to watch arguments, and it was over the argument over birthright citizenship. Why do you think that is?
I think he was trying to intimidate them just by sitting there. He has stuff on those people. And it seemed to me that it kind of went the other way.
I don't think
the judges were happy he was there. Chief Justice was really miffed. Like, how dare you come and sit there and intimidate me? I think it's going to go the opposite way for him.
Yeah, I don't think that the argument really held water. This administration, whether it's protecting or not protecting Jewish people or not protecting white Anglo-Saxon people, the birthright citizenship question before the U.S. Supreme Court did not seem to go Donald Trump's way. He seemed very aggravated when he came out of the U.S. Supreme Court because they were asking questions. The argument in favor of overturning the birthright citizenship, according to some of the questions from the justices, seemed very weak. Basically, one of the arguments that they were making was other countries don't do this. And the justices were like, well, yeah, we're not other countries. Like, why are you trying to compare us to other countries? We are not other countries. That is kind of the point. Like, that is kind of the point. Now, let me ask you this question, just a little bit on the birthright citizenship question. It is true that Donald Trump's argument is we are stupid. Other countries don't do this, but he's wrong. Of course, other countries do have. If you're born in their country, you're an automatic citizen. Okay. There are many countries that do this, but there's also many countries that say, yes, you are a citizen with conditions. And some of those conditions are one of your parents is a citizen. You have to be in the country for a certain number of years, yada, yada, yada. How do you feel about putting certain conditions on whether or not somebody born here is a citizen?
Okay. If you want to amend the Constitution, there's a way to do that.
Yes.
But it isn't by executive order.
Exactly.
So here's one of the things that I guess Kavanaugh said. And I don't want to be defending Bondi. I don't want to be defending Kavanaugh. But here's one of the things he said. The argument was made, well, they don't do this in Europe.
Right.
And Kavanaugh said, we try to interpret American law with American precedent based on American history.
We are America, dumbass.
So I don't give a rat's ass where they do what. Here we are in America with a constitution, a set of laws that the framers created. And we all decided this is what we're going to live by. This is our set of rules. And right there, it says, if you're born here, you're a citizen.
Right.
Period. End of sentence. So again, I don't have a problem with changing that, perhaps, in ways that make sense, but go about changing it in the right way. I know it's nearly impossible, but it's been done before. You know, we banned booze and then we reinstituted booze and we gave people the right to vote and we did all kinds of things. If this is important enough to us as a country, we'll make it happen. But you don't do it this way.
Right.
You don't just disregard.
You don't take it the whole thing away
because you don't like it.
Right.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I have no problem with birthright citizenship. And I'll even go out and say, I also have no problem with amending it in a way. I do. And I've said this before on the show, so it's not actually a surprise. I get it. I do get the problem. I do get the argument that there are people that come here simply to give birth, to have children, and then leave. And I don't think that that's right. I don't. I will 100% agree with that. I don't think that's right. You don't want to actually live in America and be an American citizen. You just want the American citizenship. And I don't think that that's right. 100%. We can amend it that way, but I agree with Kim. But then we have to do it the right way.
That's right.
We all have to agree on it. And if not enough Americans agree on it to amend the Constitution, then we don't do it. But
either we're a country based on the Constitution or we're not.
Or we're not. Exactly. But we don't just get to do it because Trump doesn't like it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that's the point, is he doesn't get to stomp his feet and be like, nobody gets birthright citizenship if you're born here. No, my friend, that's not how we do it. You don't get to stomp your feet and have a little, temper tantrum. And then our Constitution doesn't work anymore. And that's the problem, is he undermines our Constitution left and right.
That's right.
And that's the problem.
That's impeachable. When you stand on your inauguration day and promise to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
and then he doesn't like it,
held to that.
Right. Exactly.
That's your promise you made to America. That's the number one thing that you have to do in your duties as president.
Right.
To put an exclamation point on the end of the sentence about how you don't just get to change the Constitution when you're the president because you don't like it. One of the arguments was the United States. This is one of the lawyers arguing against birthright citizenship.
Uh-huh.
We're a nation under siege by hostile foreigners, an onslaught of, quote, illegal aliens. It's a new world where 8 billion people are a plane ride away from being U.S. citizens. He said, it's a new world. And Justice Roberts says this, you know, it's a new world, but it's the same Constitution.
Exactly. We still have the same Constitution, my friend. And that's what we're saying. That's what we follow. And that's what Donald Trump put his hand up, didn't really touch the Bible, but put his hand up and said he would uphold. So sorry, my friend, that's the job you said you would do. So if you didn't want the job, you shouldn't have said you would do it. So there you go.
I don't like the idea of birth tourism.
No.
I don't like the idea of coming here and having a baby and think you can stay because your kid's an American citizen.
I don't either.
I don't like that idea. It does not please me, right? I wouldn't have, as they say, you know, I know we're basing it on American law and American precedent, but I don't think I could go to another country, have a baby, and expect that my baby and I would have citizenship somewhere else.
No.
So should the law be changed? Maybe in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, if we're having enough trouble with it, if it really is that big of a problem, I want to know how many people that happens to. How many mothers come here and do the birth tourism and then take off? Like, how many babies get citizenship and don't even live in America? How many people? I mean,
well, I mean, there's been stories about businesses and things like that doing it, and I get it, but yeah, what's the number? Let's put this in actual,
is it 1 million babies a year?
Yeah. I mean, let's not exaggerate. Let's put it into actual numbers. Yeah.
Is it a problem worthy of our time?
Right.
Is it a problem worthy of an attempt to change our Constitution for? That's what I wonder.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and what is the actual pressure on our economy versus everything else? And I will also say this, if it is, then let's change it, but let's change it in a way that makes sense. And if it needs to be, these people need to stay here for a few years and dedicate themselves to becoming an American and go through a certain process. Okay, let's just make some rules. It doesn't need to be this difficult. We don't need to be so about it, right? Like, not everything has to be racist, xenophobic, whatever. Like, let's just create a system and be cool about it. Not everything has to be us versus them, antagonistic. Like, everything, it seems under this administration, it has to be a war, right? Just, it doesn't really. Let's just create a system. And if you don't fall into it, sorry, you can't do it. It doesn't have to be so violent. You know what I mean? Like, let's just do it, you know?
Kevin finding the silver lining, like the beautiful soul he is. Hey, at least people still want to come here.
Exactly. Maybe people don't want to. You know, we're on a list in some countries, like, don't go there.
We don't have to worry. Nobody wants to have their baby here anymore. It's okay.
All right. Let's switch gears because I do want to talk about this other from the WTF file. We have to talk about it. I'm sorry, because we do. We have to, because I can't. We have to talk about Kristi Noem's husband. I have to, because I couldn't.
You want me to show pictures?
I have a picture. I put it.
Okay.
I put one in. I put one. I mean, if you have another one, I mean, I have this one.
Please, we'll use your. Oh my.
We can take it off for right now, though.
Hey, you know what? Do what you got to do.
Okay, this is. Oh, hold on. I want to set this up.
Yeah.
Can I set this up first?
Please.
Okay. Because I might have a different angle on this story than people think that I'm going to have. Okay. So if you've been living under a rock, because I was blown away by this story. Okay. Absolutely. I'm going to lead with this. I don't think Kristi Noem's husband is the bad guy here. Okay. I don't. So Kristi Noem's husband, again, if you've been living under a rock, Daily Mail came out with a story that said that he has been exposed as a cross-dressing person that loves bimbification, which is a kink centered around men that like to dress as women with gigantic proportions, such as dressing up with big fake boobs and like talking to women online or what have you. Okay. So he's a cross-dresser and he likes to dress up online and whatever. So basically the picture I showed you. This is what he likes to do. Okay, there you go. Okay. Okay. So this came out. Okay. Now, is it embarrassing?
Yes.
Yes. Is it embarrassing?
No. If someone could look in your deep, dark soul, would you be embarrassed of something they would find? I mean, everyone has their weird thing, right?
Okay. I'm not going to yuck his yum. Okay.
Right.
If this is what you like to do. Okay. I have a couple of questions. First, Kim, do you consider dressing up with big boobs online cheating?
No.
So, saying that, is Brian Ohm the bad guy when Kristi Noem's affair with Corey Lewandowski, the most worst kept secret in the world in Washington, D.C., isn't she still the bad guy in this marriage?
She's flying around the country on Rendezvous Airlines with a bedroom in the back. I mean, but we don't know if maybe they have an open marriage. I don't know what deals they've made. Maybe she's not a cheater. Maybe
she's a cheater. She's a cheater.
Maybe they have an open marriage. Maybe she knows that he likes to do, what is it? Bimbofication. Maybe she knows that about him.
No, maybe she's devastated. They put out a statement that they were blindsided.
When it comes out in the news, she's devastated. But maybe she knew he had this weird thing. I don't know. What would be more upsetting to me if I'm his wife is that he spent more than $20,000 online talking to these ladies with giant boobs and latex. Now we got a problem. When you're spending all this money,
they can afford it. How much work did she get done? I mean, he's at least using balloons. She put all that shit in her face. You know what I mean? He's doing it the cheap way. She actually did it the expensive way.
But what's even worse, and it's not about, kink shaming or whatever people call
I'm not shaming. Everybody has their
marriage shaming or whatever deal they've made in their marriage. But then to be we're the Christian people, and we're on the Christian right, and we're fighting for the Christian way of life.
Jesus didn't say anything about fake boobs and dressing up, though. I will say that
drives me. I mean, it couldn't have happened to a bigger hypocrite, honestly.
I'm also wondering, this is the other thing. As someone who has known my husband since I was 17 years old, a la Kristi Noem and her husband, she fucking knew.
Yeah.
She knew.
Totally.
She knew. So none of this, nah. She found those balloons. She found those hot pants. She has seen him in that outfit. I am sorry.
And it makes sense that maybe she wouldn't be necessarily attracted to that. And
maybe that's why she started the affair. Exactly. So it makes sense what you were saying. Maybe that's why, maybe they did have an open marriage. But at the same time, just because he likes to dress up doesn't mean she can't be into it. I don't know. Again, it's not cheating in my eyes. If you want to dress up and it's not offensive to you.
I mean, you could say that a good marriage, one would share your proclivities or what have you.
Whatever gets you off, man. You know what I mean? Whatever.
And maybe you don't have to have the same proclivities or the same interests, but you would at least know what one person is pleased by and you don't have to participate in that, but there should be some kind of, I think, in a good marriage, some communication. Otherwise, you're just living separate lives. One person is doing the do on the plane, the other person is doing the do with the big fake boobs on the computer, and never the two shall meet.
But I would say that if we're going to say what is worse, Kristi Noem screwing dorky looking Corey Lewandowski, way worse than, balloon boobs, Brian Ohm. Whatever. At least his looks more fun. I don't know.
Nancy says the pieces of the puzzle are starting to fit.
And I'm I don't know. You could not write this shit. You know what I mean? You could not write this administration's storyline anymore. I was dying. I'm I did not see this one coming at all, but gotta respect it. Like, you know, everyone has their thing. I'm not hating Brian.
Everyone has their thing. And as Judy says, it's the hypocrite factor that I have a problem with. And that's what it is.
But you know what? Yeah. Did Brian come out being a hypocrite? No. I don't know him. I don't know him. Did he? I don't know. Is he on his pulpit? I don't know. I don't hear from him. Kristi Noem I hear from. She could go suck rocks, but you know what I mean? I don't know. I haven't heard from him. Maybe he has. If he has, then he can go F off. But yes, this whole like Christian traditional family, although I will say Jesus doesn't say anything about bimbification. So I will say, you know, whatever. And again, I am not going to shame this. I will only say that I think that he's not the bad guy. Kristi Noem is. Kristi Noem is the one that stepped out, unless they have an open marriage, which we've never heard about.
This is a story about celebrities and religion, and Kristi Noem exploring her faith and beliefs. As you say, I don't think Jesus approves. I don't know what Jesus approves of. Okay. I don't think she does either. But don't bust out and try to use God and religion and this and that when you know darn well that you come from an alternative style home, which, hey, I'm a libby lib. Do your alternative style home. That's great. Have your open marriage. Do whatever works for you people. As long as you're not hurting anyone else and you're both consenting adults, rock on, right?
Right.
But then don't trot out the Bible and religion and your cruelty and your nastiness and all of these things under the, you know, America was founded on the Christian religion, all of this type of thing that they say. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, it does. Yeah, it screams hypocrisy because, yeah, I want to share this. This is my husband's meme that was just cracking me up, and I hope it's big enough to share with you guys because I just have to like share it with you. I don't know if you guys can see this big enough, but it was the F, you know, the F, marry, kill meme. I don't know if you could see it. So the one on the left is Corey. That's the F. The Mary is
oh yeah.
Brian, and the kill is the poor dog.
Oh, well, it's not inaccurate.
It's not inaccurate, yeah. Luis, thank you for the $5 donation. Hello, ladies. He is the bad guy, not for cross-dressing, but for being married to Ice Barbie. He's a puppy killer. That's why I put it up there. Mm-hmm. Contrast, George Conway divorced Kellyanne. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Like, is there something to be said for that?
Her. He sat right behind her in that congressional testimony when she was asked if she's sleeping with some other guy, and he sat there and supported his wife.
I know. But again, Nugget heard my joke. He didn't like it.
Let me tell you about Kristi Noem's religious beliefs and practices. She supports letting students pray in schools and public places. Her campaigns talk about often Christian morals, which appeals to voters who care about these values. She encourages people to join the National Day of Prayer every year. Brian Noem shares Kristi's Christian faith. Their shared beliefs help them work together as parents and public servants. They respect each other's values and try to serve their community based on faith. So they're using religion to be like, we're nice, normal, wholesome people. We're the people at your church in the pew. No, they're not.
No, well, they can be those people. But, you know, I will say this. Sometimes, I've said this before, the religious people can be the freakiest. I mean, look at the Mormon wives of Utah or whatever. They're I don't know if you guys watch that show. They're the swingers. When you suppress, sometimes you get a little freaky. You know what I mean? Like sometimes in healthy ways, sometimes in not healthy ways. So now again, I don't think this bimbification thing is, I don't know much about it. I don't know if it's unhealthy or healthy. I don't know enough about it to make a judgment of whether it gets into the unhealthy or healthy range. I don't know enough about it. I don't know everything that he's done. But all I'm saying is within this news cycle, I think Kristi Noem looks worse than he does Because
See, but to most of the country, I don't think that's true. Okay.
I think it's embarrassing more for him.
Right. Because say it came out instead of him being with the big balloon boobs.
Right.
Say it came out that he was having an affair. Most Americans would go, oh, he's having an affair. Right. Yeah, but it comes out that he has balloon boobs and it's like, oh, that's so embarrassing.
Well, because it looks embarrassing.
Yeah. Because it's not normal, right? It's not in the norm. I don't want to say it's not normal. It's not like mainstream. Having an affair, half the country does that.
Yeah,
that's
but,
why the divorce rate
but not
is so
screwing
high.
Corey Lewandowski. That guy's a dork. Like, ugh. Like, that guy is just awful. And apparently it's like the worst kept secret in Washington, D.C. Like, everyone knows.
It's not a secret.
Everyone knows that she's screwing
The
him.
entire country knows that she was.
And that's what's really sad is like everyone knows, and that's embarrassing for him.
Or if they have an open marriage, that's not so embarrassing.
But we don't know that they have an open marriage. They have an open marriage because she's screwing him, and everybody knows. That's not the same thing.
Do you think he didn't know? Obviously, I mean, he must have known, and he still stayed there. So I guess it's okay.
I don't know. The same thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's the same thing. Just like being okay because you have to save face is not the same thing. I don't know. I think that he has to be okay because
what people will tolerate is different. Not to whataboutism it, but look at what Hillary Clinton's put up with.
True.
Look at the whole. I mean, she's decided that she has a set of things that are more important than sexual stuff on the other side. So she's decided, and they've made their deals in their marriage and whatever they've decided, and she's decided that that's not important, right?
Yeah.
Just like maybe this balloon boob guy has decided that it's not important.
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, would you be not saying your husband would ever do anything, but there would be a line. I don't know how much embarrassment I would be able to do on the public square where it'd be like, sorry, man. Like, we're gonna have to.
Yeah, but you wouldn't marry balloon boob guy. You would know there was.
What if you're married for a while and then they say,
no, there's something weird. I'm sorry. You know that the person is not being satisfied without some extras.
Balloons. And that's the thing. She's known him since they were high school. They've been high school sweethearts. Like, I would know. Like, I've known my husband since I was in high school. Mm-hmm. I would know if he was putting balloons down his shirt. You know what I mean?
You know that about someone. And still she decided to marry the guy because maybe she loves him and maybe he has other great things about him. Whatever.
I would hope so.
Fine. But as for me, I don't think I'm marrying balloon guy. I don't think you are either.
No, I mean, there's only so much I could put up with. That's very true. Okay. Couple final stories. They go together. The Artemis 2 launched yesterday. From the Kennedy Space Center, it went on a mission around the moon. I kept hearing people talk about this, about how I was listening to like a music station, and they kept talking about how back in the day, this used to be big news and how not everybody thinks it's a big deal because we're just used to stuff like this about going into outer space and da-da-da-da-da. I think it's a big deal.
I think so too.
I think it's cool because if this goes well, then we'll go back to the moon and actually land on the moon. This was just around the moon. Mm-hmm. So the Artemis 2, the launch was successful. So basically it's a 10-day mission. We're not going to land, but it's a step toward landing in 2028. So that's pretty quick, a couple of years. So we'll establish a long-term presence. And every time we say that, I always say, so we can F up another freaking place.
We're building a moon base. Right now we're scouting for a moon base.
Yeah, because we're screwing up this planet. So we just need a place to go to.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time I think about watching things like space shuttles, I think of Challenger, which is just traumatic, of course. But and then I think of like SpaceX and how normal that's become. And now SpaceX is going to have an IPO. Would you buy into a SpaceX IPO? I don't think I would do.
Whoever does will probably make a lot of money. Sadly,
maybe.
But morally,
I cannot support that. I cannot support that. But anyways, okay. So the crew, they're awesome. So I don't know if the crew is going to be the same crew that would go in 2028, but we wish them well. It's a 10-day thing. I'm stoked about that. But the reason I mention it is, did you hear Republican Congressman Tim Burchett? So he was talking today, actually. He was on with, I think it was Newsmax, and he was talking about all of the information that's come out about outer space. Okay. And I always think about this because, again, I always got into an argument with our good friend Chip Franklin, who does not believe in extraterrestrials. He does not believe that there is intelligent life in outer space.
Does he know how big the universe is?
Thank you. That's what I always say, but he just does not.
The chances are good that we're not an anomaly.
Thank you. He just does it. He never does. Okay, so I'm going to play this this interview that the congressman did. Okay, here we go.
Yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, kind of how you react to that, because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
Wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue?
I'm being 100% serious. Okay. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And
listen to this.
I'll just tell you this. If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago. And it would have set the earth on. This country would have come unglued, I think, if they would have heard all that I heard. They would demand answers, and we need to. But it's never going to get. Unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up, and the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal, and I don't take risks.
Just in case.
So, I'm glad you said that. I'm speechless, Congressman. We will have you back.
You should be. And I told the president.
Just in case somebody tries to kill me.
The problem is the people that are around the president don't know and the president doesn't know the questions to ask. A few of us are going to have to get with the president and tell him what he needs to ask and where he needs to look. I mean, we're in meetings and they give addresses and tell locations of items, I'll just say. And the public has a right to know, dadgummit. It's your tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Let's get it out there.
You got my attention, Congressman. I appreciate you.
So again, I understand that some people, I am a firm believer in intelligent life in outer space. So I am 100%.
Matt Gaetz is saying that the government is breeding humans with aliens.
I don't know what Matt Gaetz is saying that is happening.
That's what he was saying. That was the bottom crawl. He was responding to claims that Matt Gaetz.
Oh yeah, claiming that there were experiments breeding human and alien DNA. That's what he was claiming, and he's like, so apparently, the host was saying, I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, how do you react to what Gaetz was saying? And then he was going on with, he can't obviously comment on Gates's comment on that alien DNA. Right. I'm just going to say this. I don't know if I believe the whole breeding crap that Gaetz is talking about, but I do believe that there's intelligent life in outer space. Now, whether they're here like Men in Black or anything like that, I don't know. But I do believe that there is.
Judy says, out of all the solar systems in our galaxy, out of all the galaxies in our universe, it's ridiculous to think that we are the only intelligent beings.
I mean, and I think intelligent is a stretch, because I look around. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder.
Luis says, don't see the point of Artemis. Here's my dark sci-fi story to tell. We drill baby drill on the moon, knocking it out of orbit, and it crashes to Earth. End of story.
Thanks.
I mean, this administration is pretty much, you don't know what they're going to do. Mindy says, very sad that we're off to the moon to ruin it with our space.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, exactly. We're going to go there. We're probably going to dump a bunch of crap. I mean, we're already trashing like the orbit around us, right? Like we just dump all of our space junk. It stays around there. So we have to be careful, because all of the space junk is flying all around. It's crazy.
Did you see this? It's the Artemis 2 donut. from
It's
Krispy
like
Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
I really like Krispy Kreme donuts. They're too
Yeah.
sweet.
In orbit for a limited time. I just think it's funny. Big cashing in on the Artemis 2 craze.
Of course they are. They
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I believe in I don't know. It gives me hope sometimes. You know what I mean? Like that hopefully somebody will warn us that something's coming. I don't know. I believe in it. I don't know. I like the idea of it all. There has to be, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm just stoked that the people on Artemis will see Artemis 2, may see something out there. Coast to coast, by the way, I used to work overnights when I started radio.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting show. Take it with a grain of salt many times, but very interesting show. If you're ever staying up late, if you're a truck driver, you know, was it George Norrie, right? George Norrie? That's who the host is, right? Yeah. Matt Gaetz is a failed human alien. He's like looking for his own people. That's probably it, right? Judy says, yeah, I wouldn't rule out that others may have sent probes here. Our existence might be known to others. I just don't think that we will ever meet them. Time travel, black holes, bending, you know, time, all that kind of stuff. I mean, Stephen Hawking crap. It's just, Chip Franklin believes in quantum theory. I just don't think he believes in like extraterrestrials and things like that. I just don't think he doesn't believe in all that crap. So yeah, if anybody ever talks to Chip, just tell him that I was laughing at him about all that kind of crap. All right. Well, that is our show. We will be back next Thursday. I want to say some thank yous to some of our donors. And just remember, you can always donate to our show, whether we are live or recorded. But big thank you to Cindy, who started us off with a $10 donation. Thank you. And Louise came in with a $5 donation as well. And remember, guys, we are 100% crowdfunded. We do not do this show without your support. So if there is any way that you can support the show, we do appreciate it. Our super chat and super stickers are always live, even if we are not. And please tell your friends about the show. We always love our new subscribers. So share the link, share our YouTube link, our subscriber link with your friends. And again, throw a thumbs up. It's an easy and free way to support the show as well. Our PayPal doesn't take a cut, so we love our PayPal supporters as well as our monthly Patreon supporters as well. And again, join us live 5 o'clock Pacific every single Thursday. We have our cocktails. We do cocktails and news. Why, Kim? Because the news drives us to drink.
That's right.
Every single week. All right. We love you guys. And again, the Nikki Medoro Show at gmail.com is how you reach us. If there's any stories that you want us to cover or just want to give us a comment, we always read our comments on YouTube as well. All right. We love you. We will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Love ya.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.